What do you think? Does a balloon weigh more when it's full of air or when it's empty? Or maybe their weights are equal? The short answer is this: the inflated balloon is always heavier. So, let's figure out why this is so by looking at some fundamental physics. First, let's break it down. Air has mass, and inflating a balloon with it increases the overall mass of the balloon. This means the true weight of the balloon, which is the force of gravity acting on it, increases as well. But the crucial thing is, a scale in our atmosphere doesn't actually measure either the true weight of the object or even its mass. Instead, it measures a so-called apparent weight, which reflects the object's true weight minus the buoyant force of air acting on it. Usually, we observe buoyancy in water. For example, a life ring floats on the surface of water because the water exerts a buoyant force on it. It floats precisely on the surface because the buoyant force is equal to its weight. If the life ring were to sink deeper, the buoyant force would become stronger and push it back up, and vice versa. So, the buoyant force depends on the volume of the immersed part of the object. Or more exactly, it depends on the volume of the fluid displaced by the object. This relationship is described by Archimedes' principle. It states that the buoyant force is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the object. Now, let's return to our case. The fluid in this case is air, so it exerts a buoyant force on any object in it. However, the buoyant force of air is quite weak and usually less than the weight of the object, which causes the object to sink in air. But even in this case, Archimedes' principle still works. Bigger objects displace more air, which results in a stronger buoyant force, as this force is equal to the weight of the displaced air. So, in the case of the inflated balloon, you can mistakenly assume that the added and the displaced air have the same weight, so the added weight should be equal to the buoyant force and they should cancel each other. However, this is not quite true. You see, inflating the balloon stretches its material a lot. This results in an elastic tension trying to return the balloon to the initial unstretched state. This squeezes the air inside the balloon, which makes the air denser. So, the crucial point is this: the air inside the balloon is denser than the normal air outside of it. Because the air inside is denser, its weight is greater than the weight of the air it displaces, even though they occupy equal volumes. Therefore, the added weight from the compressed air is greater than the buoyant force from the displaced air, which is why the apparent weight of the balloon becomes higher. So, that's the physics of why an inflated balloon is heavier than an empty one. However, it is important to note that all of this is true only for a balloon inflated with regular air. For example, we could inflate the balloon with helium, which is much lighter than the regular air. In this case, the added weight of helium would be much less than the resulting buoyant force from increased volume. Furthermore, this buoyant force becomes stronger even than the total weight of the balloon, which causes it to float in the air.